And at the back, in comes young Aaron Anderson for his third appearance for Melbourne Victory, youth team player. And up top, a bit more experience. 1 year and 1 day since his return to Melbourne Victory, marked with a goal and an FFA Cup fixture at the start of this season. Andrew Naboot is back in the starting lineup, back in there alongside Marco Rojas and the very, very exciting young player up front, Luis Laurie Latanzio. As for Perth Glory, they're in the home kit because they are the nominal home side for this one. 5 changes. Tony Popovic has done what Tony Popovic likes doing from time to time, especially with short turnarounds. One of those changes is this man, Joel Chianese, back in the starting lineup, and he was a ready-made starter for the majority of the season. Now he's back in what he feels probably is his rightful spot, and that's a start. And at the other end of the spectrum, Chianese is 30, teenager Gabriel Popovic. So Christian Popovic is not selected today. He's out with an infected toe, but his younger brother, the striker, is in, and he will play up top alongside Bruno Fornaroli. There's Jake Brimmer back in the starting lineup. He was good off the bench against Western Sydney Wanderers, playing that second half and really impressing with his energy. So in he goes to the starting lineup, and we are about to go. Chris Beath is your referee for this one. The pitch has dried out nicely. Resembled a swimming pool at times last night. Grant Brebner. He's put it out there to the kids, his youthful Melbourne Victory side. Impress me. Impress yourselves. Enjoy yourselves. It helps when you're playing alongside a man like this. Marco Rojas, who made his return to the A-League back in round 17 when he came off the bench against Perth Glory in a 2-2 draw over there. One of the most exciting games we've seen this season. Hopefully we get another one. Here we go. Melbourne Victory, Perth Glory. Adam Peacock alongside Andy Harper. Harps, how are you?
I'm great, mate. Great. Really looking forward to this one. Again, I'm sick of saying it, but it's just been an invigorating return to the competition by the players, and the best indicator of what's to expect here this evening, Adam, is what's gone before us, which has been plenty of goals, some extreme quality as well. Some of those on offer last night were breathtaking, and Perth everything to play for.
Encouraging start there from Melbourne Victory as well, going forward with a good couple of combinations down this left side. They're down the right now, and Rojas is caught by Tarek Elrich. So just on Perth Glory, wondering how they were going to set up. So Tarek Elrich is the left-sided centre-back. No Alex Grant in the squad today. Joel Chianese, and he is playing this right wing-back role with James Meredith on the other side, and Brimmer is in midfield. So no One Day in the back three.
No, he's anchoring the midfield is One Day, where he's done plenty of good things for Perth, and Joel Chianese has played plenty outside on the right position, up and down that flank. He'll be primed for a big one.
Ozzy Malik inside to Tommy Murchula. Here's One Day. And Chianese easy to spot in the boots. Strong defending from Aaron Anderson on another young player in Gabriel Popovic. Slick ball movement, half releasing. Can I call him Triple L? Is that easier than Laurie Latanzio? Such an exciting player.
Hasn't he caught the eye since he's been given his chance? Dying embers of what has been a very, very problematic season for Melbourne Victory.
Laurie Latanzio actually followed Marco Kurtz to the club. He was over in Adelaide and came over and joined the youth setup at Melbourne Victory. He's actually played here this season back in January in the National Youth League Grand Final. Slightly different conditions. It was 40 degrees that day. He scored a goal, but Victory got beaten by Sydney FC 5-1. Aaron Anderson was also in that starting lineup, and Bogdan Kadar, who's flicking that one on to Andrew Naboot, and Victory can have some more possession. He'll use this left side a lot. The boot spins out of trouble. Rojas is off on his bike, and not a bad run, just a bit on it. A bit too much on it from Andrew Naboot, but good intention.
Well, they played well in large part the other night. Melbourne Victory, very disappointed they will be to have lost that ultimately. It's a really sharp turn. Beautiful use of the body by Naboot. Pass didn't match the lead-up, actually. Too straight, too heavy. But they played some great stuff with the ball, Melbourne Victory. Just pretty ill-disciplined defending and a couple of great finishes. And not to deny the Central Coast Mariners, they were good value in their final game of the season.
Dylan Ruiz-Diaz is another of the names that's caught the eye. You can pretty much make a pretty strong first 11 of young players since this restart who have really caught the eye. Jake Brimmer winning it back. Gimnaze gets forward, but Gabriel Popovic can't quite find him. And they'll spin out the other side here, Perth. And Tarek Elrich, who didn't go back to Perth in lockdown. Victory win it back. He stayed in Sydney and had another child, actually, so congratulations to the Elrich clan. And the first thing Tony Popovic did when he got back into the team hotel after not seeing him for months was ask him how the family was, and then secondly, how's your weight? Looked him up and down to make sure he was looking after himself, and he was. But maybe another thing to contend with here is Victory win it back. It's an interesting ball from Andrew Naboot to look good by Stormer, who's headed straight into the feet of Rojas, who's trying to wiggle and shake his way clear. He wins a foul.
Did well, Rojas, to win that. He had Kilkenny nipping at his heels with serious intent, and then a quite imposing figure of Meredith bearing down on him.
Wasteful from Adama Traore, who, unlike his namesake for Wolves, probably doesn't oil up the arms before a game. I don't know if you saw that, Andy.
No, I didn't.
No.
But you're recommending it, are you?
No, I'm not recommending it. I just saw the photo, and
is he competing in Mr. Universe or something?
well, he looks like he could. He's a large human, naturally so. And his theory is that if he oils up the arms, he can't get grabbed when I'm trying to burst forward. Anyway, it's probably not important right now because no one's got their arms oiled up out there, but Lee Broxham's on the ball looking for Tanzio over the top. Can't quite find him. Not a lot of time on the ball at the moment for Perth Glory players.
That's good. It's a sign of intent. Grant Bredner, the interim coach for Melbourne Victory, sent out the challenge to the players. What's your attitude like? What's your psychological preparation like? You're ready to represent yourself in the club, and obviously that's ringing in the ears of the players. They've started in a very brisk manner. Perth players not getting a lot of time on the ball.
I think that's Fornaroli's first touch. 6.5 minutes in. Offered that to Grant Bredner before the game. He probably would have taken it. Kianese on one day. Elrich, a bobble to contend with. It was that area of the pitch last night that was taking a fair bit of water. Left-hand side of your screen as you look at it. Kianese can get forward now. Released by a neat pass from One Day. And that was equally as positive there from the Spaniard, trying to get it over to James Meredith as quickly as possible. Malik, Gabriel Popovic. Well marshalled here by Melbourne Victory. Again, there's no space to play through, and in the end it's released out to Kilkenny, and there's a lot of space out here for James Meredith. So first time forward for Glory. Meredith just wants to run at his defender and pass the ball straight to two defenders.
He made a really good incursion. Not quite sure when he looked up what he saw, apart from two Victory players in light grey.
Getting it forward, looking for Fornaroli in the end there, Glory, but this is a positive defensive start from Melbourne Victory. Until I mentioned that, Stormaroo can't control something that was pretty hard to handle. Rain's held off this afternoon in Sydney, but nice cool conditions for quick football, high tempo football. Alec couldn't quite get that pass right. Boxham's ball back forward was a little loose as well.
What Perth are doing really well over the last couple of minutes is kicking the Melbourne Victory press off, which has just lost a little bit of intensity. The challenge for players either low on confidence or low on games, either a run of games or career games, is keeping maintaining the rage, as it were. And Perth have been good enough to just, and patient enough to take the heat out of the Melbourne press, and now they're playing their way through.
Kilkenny staying a little higher than he usually was. Dropped back to receive that one, but he's beyond that second defensive line for Melbourne Victory at the moment. Trying to give players of the ilk of Hyundai and Tarek Elrich a bit of room to move, and look at that sky. Matching the boots of Hyundai and Chianese.
Well, there is plenty of weather around. We need to be grateful, I guess, locally that it's held off around Cogra this afternoon. But there is plenty of weather around, and I think the south coast of New South Wales and the hinterland has copped it, and might be some more in store. But here and now, the backdrop is beautiful. The setting for the players is optimum.
Alec and Chianese. Brimmer's able to get his head up and just about finds Gabby Popovich, who's not quick enough to haul it in. The first time Perth Glory have tried to look beyond that last line of Melbourne Victory. Grant Brebner, 120 games for Melbourne Victory, 2 Premiers plates, 2 championships. Manchester United youth player as well, under the tutelage of the famous Eric Harrison. And Mark Bosnich has let me know a fair bit about Eric Harrison and his methods of getting the best out of youth players, and Brebner's got the opportunity to do that at Melbourne Victory at the moment until they appoint a new man.
Is he employing the same methods?
Not quite. Not entirely sure you get away with all of them in this. Times have changed. I'm not sure that the players would be as receptive as, say, players were back then, but given the factory that he helped build, the players he helped develop at Manchester United, the methods obviously work for that particular point in time.
The method's not quite working at the moment for Victory. The early heat of their work off the ball has just dissipated a little bit, and it's Perth now firmly in control. The game's momentum, the tempo and the territory. Things can change very quickly, of course. Nothing will shatter that status quo than a sharp counter-attack.
They've got 2 players, 3 as well, 2 with extremely exposed form as far as counter-attack football goes in the final third, in Marco Rojas and Andrew Nabbout. And I dare say that Laura Latanzio is going to develop into a similar type of player, with the abilities to cut apart opponents if they're caught out somewhat. Foul there. Tony Popovich and Hayden Fox discussing things. 12, nearly 13 minutes in. Tony Popovich has missed the finals just once in his A-League coaching career. That record continues Perth guaranteed a spot. It's just a matter of where they fall. As we sit right now, a point is enough for Perth to play finals football again. Here's Laurie Latanzio, able to run it one-on-one, but slips it to Traore, gets it over the back. There's an opportunity here for victory. Defending, handball shout from the boot. Play on. Laurie Latanzio has a pop. Wide it goes, but best moment for victory.
And that's the warning for Perth. Loud and clear. They're as dominant as they've been for the last 10 minutes. A really sharp move up the left-hand side. Well retrieved that on the back post. Andrew Naboot applies for a handball there. Never going to come. Hints of a second accidental one along the way. And the shot in the end from Triple L, Laurie Latanzio. Wide and safe from a Perth Glory viewpoint.
Head tennis and high boot perhaps from Kilkenny on Barnett. And it comes back, Chris Beath trying to play a bit of advantage there. Ooh, Laurie Latanzio didn't quite know where Chianese was. Got away with it. He's one day closing the space down. Should have had a free kick there. He had his shirt tugged, but can release out wide and into space again out to the left. Fornaroli doing what Bruno does. Oh no, doesn't get the free kick. I thought Chris Beath was signalling for it. It was a great battle between Bruno Fornaroli and Patrick Ziegler through the week. Head to head, and I dare say that James Donachie and Aaron Anderson are in for the same treatment. Here it is right here. Bruno Fornaroli looking to use the body as a buffer. Out it goes to Kilkenny. Chianese was just waiting for Traore to misjudge it. He didn't. And that's well defended in the end by Broxham and Donachie. And Kadar is able to release Andrew Naboot, who's one-on-one with Elrich. One day comes across to help out. No foul. No nonsense there from Neil Kilkenny. Didn't try to play out that time. Falls for Rojas.
Well, you look at the turn and chase of Tarek Elrich on the wrong side of 30. Hasn't played a lot recently. And of course, as you reported, had to front up to Tony Popovic with his skin folds and pass the test. And we just saw the evidence there because he was up against Andrew Naboot, a noted athlete. I know Andrew's been missing a game or two with a little bit of a niggle, but still in full cries he was then. A difficult proposition, and Tarek matched him and then bustled him off the ball. It was great defending.
Needed to be right there, James Donachie, because two Perth players were putting all kinds of pressure on him. Loose touch from one day, and away victory can go. It's 3-on-2 here ahead of the ball, and Kadar spots Andrew Naboot. He's got Marco Rojas alongside. Does he slip him in? No, he goes himself. Shot blocked, and didn't quite get their cues right, the front two.
No, not at all. They look like trialists from the under-16s, not two senior internationals. Neither took charge there. And it's a great chance for Melbourne victory. Durkan Kurda spread the ball to your two gun players, and between them, they completely got in each other's way, Rojas and Naboot.
Chianese. It's loose again, so it's a job for Neil Kilkenny to try and do something with it, and in the end he wins a foul, but just a little loose there from Glory. As soon as Chianese got that ball, he was looking for a run in behind from Fornaroli or Popovic, and in the end the square ball was anyone's, really.
There's inexperience there from Joe Barnett. Not only gives away the foul, but left his body completely unprotected, and in using all his experience to protect himself. And I'm not suggesting anything untoward from Neil Kilkenny, but One man was left on his feet and the other gasping for air. It's experience. Jay Barnett battling away in midfield. You've got to anticipate protecting your body in those situations. He's feeling a little dusty at the moment. There he is in the centre circle. Thankfully he's back and moving, but he's still feeling his midsection.
Fornaroli trying to link up with Meredith. There's Tarek Elrich onside. Anderson's very deep in the middle. That's why Meredith was onside, and he wins a corner. There is Barnett, just his 11th A-League game. Son of a former NSL player, West Adelaide's Michael Barnett, involved in the football scene down there in Adelaide. And his son Jay went up to Brisbane, play youth football with Raw before joining Melbourne Victory.
Did set Adam. You had Laurie Latanzio and Barnett. Jordan O'Doherty, another Crow Eater playing for the Wanderers, and there's a stack of youth out of South Australia, pretty much dominating the youth discussion at A-League level at the moment.
Corner in. Oh, out comes Matty Acton. Didn't get a clean punch on it. In the end, it was enough. Meredith and one day to reset. Yeah, that's Adelaide United Football South Australia youth program is bearing some fruit. Not just for the Reds, but parts of the competition. Carlo Armiento, who's on the bench for Perth Glory as well. He's another South Australian product. Trouble there, Perth, and do it well. Fornaroli flips it out, and they can go down the left here with Kilkenny. Completely underhit the pass, which is unlike him, but wins the throw-in still. Just wonder for how long Victory can stay organised with their press if they're going to do that as Perth look to play out, whether or not Perth Glory are trying to lull them into something that perhaps they shouldn't do.
Well, I think Perth have weathered the early storm and have established their seniority, as is reflected by the league table and who's still playing for meaningful points. This is the challenge for the Victory players, to which I think Coach Grant Brebner was referring pre-game. This is a big opportunity and a big responsibility to show that you're ready to acquit yourself as per for the entire 90, not do it in fits and starts.
And it turns over there, a loose touch from Tarek Elrich, and again Victory have as many numbers as their opposition in front of them. But here's Marco Rojas linking up with Traore, and from the Diamante corner, Marco Rojas puts it out for a goal kick.
From the Diamante corner.
Well, it is now.
Nice run from Rojas, just getting his feet a little bit tied up. The second touch there. Didn't he treat us last night? Alessandro Diamante. And Adam, I mean, we sit back in awe of this sort of stuff. You can talk about the defending, etc., but goals of sheer wonder. And whilst we're enjoying those, the little quick retro, that Melbourne Victory tried to sign this guy 4 years ago, and FFA said no, he doesn't fit the criteria. Well, I could have done with that for the last 4 years. I'll give you the tip.
Don't start me on that. Don't start. I'm so with you about that. Oh. Foul given away. Storm Roo, who is well advanced up the pitch. Have you seen him play cricket? Diamante?
Oh, he'd be good at French cricket. By the way, he hooks his left boot around his shoulder. Or the reverse sweep. Is he good at that? I reckon that'd be his thing, the reverse sweep. No, I haven't, Adam. I haven't. Is it something to see?
Oh, it's... I reckon we could almost put it on television. It's an entertaining thing. Just the expression and the character and the personality of the guy just shines in the way that he plays football and lives life. Thank you for coming, Alessandro, and it's good to have him here for at least another year or two.
Yeah, and, you know, we've got more pressing matters at hand. That's Perth v Melbourne, but...
Kilkenny just nipping in front of his opponent there, and it keeps the move going. It's out to Meredith now, slipping over in the middle. Just caught my eye was Gabriel Popovic. And Jake Bremer's got his hands up in the air, appealing almost.
Yeah, well, again, they work the space beautifully, but just no final piece of the puzzle. There's Popovic over. There goes the ball over. I just finished that point about Diamante. I think we should all extend massive credit to the Western United Football Club for managing to secure Alessandro for the next season, because goodness knows the uncertainty around everything, and they still took that leap of faith. And particularly to the player himself, who has decided to set up his stall here for another period of time and contribute to our football amidst all that uncertainty. Just I think we should extend our appreciation very publicly, because it's difficult for clubs to do business in the recruitment and retention phase of a football club's life at the moment.
Here. Here's Lee Broxham. All the way back to acting. He's asking something of Andrew Naboot, especially with big Tommy Murchler just waiting for a header. I think he enjoyed that, Tommy.
I've never met a centre-half, central defender, who doesn't enjoy the aftermath of a contest with a central striker who gets up muttering out of the corner of his mouth. Which was what Andrew Naboot was left to do. Plenty have been in that space before. It was a fair old challenge.
A few players slipping over, and the same last night. You could understand it last night, but as night falls in Sydney, maybe a bit of grease on top of the surface, and on top of Tommy Murchler's head is the imprint of Marco Rojas's boot. Yellow card.
Well, it's a beautiful flick on from the boot. Rojas has stretched for the ball, as too has Tommy Murchler. Popovic is asking for a straight red. To me, that's a matter of the timing. How late was Rojas? He's been punished for not taking due care. And as much as his foot was up, maybe this is a mitigating circumstance, as much as his foot was up, so too was Tommy Murchler's head down. Nevertheless, in my opinion, the benefit of the doubt goes to the player whose head's threatened, as it must be and increasingly will be as we go on from here. I don't think it's particularly late, but geez, his boot's high. That's certainly borderline as far as I'm concerned. Real borderline.
The term excessive force as well plays a part.
Yes, it does. You're right to point that out, Adam, and the referee in a split second has to calibrate all these considerations. Maybe not so lucky on another day. Spieth was swift in his decision-making, highly experienced referee, go through the checklist of all these things. We can't appreciate how quickly their training enables them to recall all these things in a millisecond and work through that checklist. But I reckon Marco Rojas is borderline fortunate, because that turned out to be pretty dangerous.
It's that old one that we always lean on in the postscript to an incident like that. Seen him given. They play on here, Victory trying to settle a bit. Those moments that they had early on when they were able to break quickly or get in behind, they've dissipated somewhat in the last 10 minutes. And it's certainly Perth Glory more comfortable, settling into their patterns. Victory having moments like this where nothing is in total control for elongated period. Here's Chianese winning it back. There's Malik and a little half slip from Hyundai.
He's gone down a couple of times, I reckon. Will be putting the skin calipers away and getting the studs out, I reckon. Try these for size one day. See if you can stay on your feet.
Perth not noted first half specialists this season. 8 of their last 10 goals have come in the second half, so they run out games as you'd expect from a Tony Popovich trained side. And when there's been a goal in a game in their last 5 games, they've scored the last one. Here's Victory. Rojas skips around his opponent, goes top corner and scores yet another goal. Marco Rojas puts Victory in front out of nothing.
Well, the furrowed brow of Liam Reddy tells us a lot. Where did that come from? Our position of dominance, players slipping, not sure of their feet. Naboot's gone over as well. Chianese takes 3 steps to get going, then slips. Not good enough. And Rojas says why it's not good enough, because he dances onto his left foot and he fires it past the outstretched Reddy. It's a brilliant finish. The player's going over like 9 pins, and that's a big contributor to the goal. That plus the wonder of Marco Rojas. What a beautiful hit.
Grant Brebner certainly thinks so. Marco Rojas has got his 32nd goal for Melbourne Victory after the brace against Central Coast Mariners earlier this week. And Perth have a problem to solve. Malik straight forward. James Donachie laps that up. Murchler laps that up in return, and the ball travels 60 metres off both central defenders' heads. Aggregate journey, but yeah, Marco Rojas just saw Chianese coming and just so well balanced. As Harp mentioned, almost slid around him, skipped around him. Here's Chianese getting in beyond, but recovering well. It was Anderson out for a corner.
That's good coverage from Anderson. Big chance here for Victory. 15 to go till half-time. Their mindset mustn't be, let's close it out till half-time. And what sort of studs is Joel wearing? Not much by the looks of things to me. Not it. They didn't keep him up. They're not good enough to keep him up. That's the end of the story. And he's not the only one. He was just the last domino to fall before Rojas punctured Perth Glory's defence.
Defensive header there from Andrew Naboot. A lovely touch from Neil Kilkenny. Out of the sky as it hit the turf. He was able to flick it around to Chianese, who can't get it in. Victory play out now. Barnett, there's no one on the last line, so he'll have to run it out, and he does so. And lovely ball out to Laurie Latanzio. They're away here, and look at Storm Rue. That's him flashing through your screen. Laurie Latanzio moves on the side of caution. Marco Rojas at left back. Traore in front of him. Adama Traore. Headed away. Yeah, the Chianese one. Andy trying to defend Marco Rojas. It looked like sand shoes on ice skating rink type thing. He just couldn't stop.
Well, you look at the game, look at that goal again, and there was a couple of players who struggled. Melbourne Victory playing a boot was part of it. But Joel needed 2 cracks in that one sequence. Firstly, he couldn't get started to close Rojas down. Then when he got there, he couldn't change direction. It was a sitting duck.
To be mutual contact between Laurie Latanzio and Elrich, but Elrich wins the free kick. So Marco's done the just going the other direction to the player that just cannot possibly stop. There he goes.
I mean, you know, he needs to be watched in any event, Rojas, as tightly as possible. Not given that extra space, and not in that part of the field. I mean, lethal. Such an exciting player. It's not as though it's a secret either.
Kind of half going in there was Kilkenny to try and win it. Tight areas here for victory. Barnett just settles thing back to Matt Acton, who's under no illusions about what his intent was. Hyundai. Popovich isolated there. It was 2-on-1 that Brimmer passed into. But hasn't been a overbearing figure on this match so far, and Rojas, that's loose.
Disappointing. Burton Curter changed the whole opportunity of that possession with that beautiful dummy. Threw his leg over the ball, sent the Perth defenders, those in the proximity, completely the wrong way. Field opens up for victory. And a victory on top of their game, I reckon, has just finished an attack on goal. It's just a sign of where they are at the moment, notwithstanding the very good lead they've taken here, care of Marco Rojas.
Malik elects to clear, and Neil Kilkenny uses his body well. Well positioned was Aaron Anderson to cut it out. Opportunity here to get forward victory. Barnett. He keeps his feet nicely. I think that ball was intended to lead Broxton, but he took it anyway. Falls here for Fornaroli. And wins a foul. Does it well because struggling to bring other players into play. Perth Glory at the moment. Hasn't been the case throughout this first half, but just in this current period. Malik looking forward to Fornaroli. Donachie going head to head, and Gabriel Popovich just a little late to the scene. Just watching Tony Popovich as they try to move forward the last couple of times. He's increasingly frustrated, Perth Glory manager, about the inability to maintain possession and control when they're going forward at the moment. Will this be the change? They win a foul through Jake Brimmer. Well,
and to me, that's part of the answer to this, is Jake Brimmer using the good vein of form and confidence that he's accessing at the moment to start driving from midfield, skip past or draw the foul. Just need that little bit more dynamism out of midfield. The Perth Glory. Set up is solid otherwise. They've had some really good possession. They've just got to break that link in midfield with a bit more drive. Well, that's got to be a foul on Popovich. I've had enough of this. Come on, ref.
Handful of jersey. Didn't spot it, Chris Beath. Andrew Naboot does the pirouette, keeps possession, and Curta looking for his young mate Laurie Latanzio, and it had to be a very good challenge out there, and it was, from James Meredith.
Pardon my frustration, Adam and viewers, but how did the ref not see that?
I'm just impressed you didn't swear. When I get that frustrated, I just let it fly.
I mean, it's a cheap way out of trouble, a defender grabbing a shirt, and of course they're going to keep doing it. And there was zero up for debate there. Gabriel Popovich was hauled out of the contest utterly illegally, and the ref says play on. I mean, go figure. NRL's on channel whatever it is.
Yeah, and then everyone gets frustrated when the next one's given, because all we ask for in life is consistency. Anyway, we play on. Traore. And the option is to go back. It's a loose one. James Donachie needs to get on his bike and does. Gives it away. Brimmer in a bit of space with a few options ahead of him. Looks up, high one to Fornaroli, who almost gets on the end of it.
Well, that adds some promise. Now, Brimmer picks up the ball. He's got two decisions, or one decision to make, two options. Do I drive with the ball at my feet, or do I pick out El Tuna? And he tries for the second. And it was so close. Would have been a hell of a goal. Nice work from Brimmer. Such a talented player. Fornaroli, who was anticipated at intended to be on the end of that ball. One of the great goal scorers we've seen, and it would have been worthy of his reputation if he got on the end of that.
He's been heavily involved against Melbourne Victory this season, as you'd expect from Bruno Fornaroli. Of course, making his name for himself in the A-League with Melbourne City. This season, he scored from a free kick in round 17. He did the acrobat trick, which hit the post. He hit the post against Victory in round 8 as well, so could have had a bag full against Victory so far this season. Playing to his feet this time. It's a lovely give and go, and he's away and he's onside. Bruno Fornaroli can't get around James Donachie, has to use the dance moves. Still one-on-one with him. Look at them. It's interpretive dance, the both of them. Arms going everywhere, legs staying in unison. In the end, it's out for a throw-in.
Well, beautiful work. I mean, he is from across the river, not from Buenos Aires, so I'm not sure if it's right to label that more tango than interpretive dance, but it was certainly beautiful. Credit to James Donachie, who wasn't getting overly fooled by the flying feet of Fornaroli.
It was impressive from both, and that's coming from the eyes of a man who's got 3 daughters and has been to his fair share of dance concerts, Harps.
Just needed a bit of spray tan and some fake eyelashes. Would look the part, eh?
In Fornaroli, Donachie going at it. Kenny on the ball. As well, Brimmer. Again able to get his head up. He looks for that diagonal to Chianese. Back it comes to Malik. Little chip ball, and Fornaroli nutmegs himself. With Bruno and James Donachie, it's only going to continue to say that we're seeing more of it in the last 5 minutes or so than we have throughout this contest, but a lot of body contact between the two. And as Glory win it back again high up, it's just for the ref, and every time Bruno gets the ball, the referee needs to make some kind of decision almost. Kenny looked at Chianese and the overlapping run, instead into Fornaroli. Joel's offside.
Yeah, well, Bruno Fornaroli, I mean, there are different types of tests for central defenders, but for his type of player, there's no one who works central defenders like he does. There's no specific assignment in an A-League match as unique as Donachie v Fornaroli or anyone v Fornaroli. He loves the ball in tight. He loves that close contact. He loves to feel exactly where the central defenders are so he can put them on their pants. Different from a Lafondra who beats defenders by mobility, ostensibly, and a lot of guile as well. Jamie McLaren running off the shoulders in behind and finishing. Bessart Berisha, well, you're just at war with Bessart. You've got to be prepared for that. But of his style, Bruno Fornaroli in this league is unique, and the players who come up against him need to be prepared.
I dare say that James Donachie is relishing this challenge at the moment. He's had more to deal with Fornaroli than his younger centre-back opponent in Aaron Anderson. As Rojas looking over the top when Andrew Naboot was coming short. Ozzy Malik. Here's again Fornaroli. Arm in arm with Anderson, and wins another free kick. Neil Kilkenny, the set-piece taker for Perth Glory, just looking to lob this around, I'd say, the penalty spot mark. And give Matt Acton something to really think about when the ball's in the air. All the tall timber up there for Glory. Here's Kilkenny. He's dropped on a dime. bit to deal with here. Fornaroli trying to get it down. He can't. And away come Victory. Laurie Latanzio. See what he does here. Just to take off and can't quite keep it under. The ultimate pressure valve release, Harps, when a striker goes forward like that with not a lot of support, just to hold the ball until everyone else comes in. Otherwise, the defensive shape. Here's Andrew Naboot, though, nicking it off Hyundai, going one-on-one. Tommy Machala turned inside and out. Andrew Naboot just past that right-hand post.
Well, Popovic relieved. Victory frustrated. Yellow card for dissent. Check out Andrew Naboot's feet here. Could he actually change direction the way he wanted? It's a great opportunity. It was a good burst. It was a good piece of work to pinch that ball.
Dankata with that yellow card, giving Chris Beath some advice that he didn't really appreciate. Victory can be well satisfied with their output so far. It's not as if Matt Acton's going to have to change his shirt at half-time because he's got stains all over it from rolling around trying to pluck them out of the top corner. It's impressive last line defence so far, but I just wonder if tweaks need to be made so they're not putting themselves under constant pressure all over the top. Storm Roo reads it well. Keeps it in, though. Jake Brimmer trying to get that head up again. Neil Kilkenny and Meredith. Brimmer, all he wants to do is look up and see someone running in. He'll try and drop it exactly where they want it. To the only minute of time added on, and Kilkenny actually took it out of the path of Bruno Fornaroli right there.
And that's largely where Perth have broken down. The last line of Victory's defence has been very dogged, so the first point of credit goes to them. But it's the final third for Perth which has just been a little bit clunky. Players getting in each other's way, not quite getting the final decision right.
Time for one last shift forward for Victory. Latanzio. Should just about do it. And does. So Perth Glory with a fair bit more comfortable possession in that half, as the two players who came head to boot in that first half, Rojas and Murchler, kiss and make up. But yeah, Perth Glory a lot more comfort in possession, but Melbourne Victory with the big chances, one of which they've taken. Marco Rojas with another goal on 29 minutes. And it's Victory with the lead at half-time. Perth Glory 0, Melbourne Victory 1. So a bit to consider for Perth Glory and Tony Popovic. A bit to hang on to for Grant Brebner and Melbourne Victory. We're going to be back in a moment, live around the country. We'll revisit that moment, that goal, and the other big ones. Victory and their kids with the lead.
That's what we normally have on it, yeah. He's a lot taller than me. He's a lot taller than me. How about we just don't. Hang on. Bruce is telling me to put it up.
Yeah, but just tilt it up.
Wait, I'll do it. Yeah, it's on. Nope. Yep.
One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Got me. Sir, give me a thumbs up when you can hear me.
Yep, I hear you.
Okay, cool.
Beautiful sunset that sunsets and walks along the beach aren't exactly on the minds of Perth Glory players and coaches right now. It's getting out of this problem that is presented to them because a young Melbourne Victory side have the lead thanks to Marco Rojas and his goal on 29 minutes. Andrew Naboot had a big chance as well on the cusp of half-time. Perth Glory, as you can see, have pretty much dominated possession, almost twice as much in terms of completed passes, but look at the shots. 5-1 to Melbourne Victory over Perth Glory here at Cogra. And Andy Harper alongside me, Adam Peacock, for the halftime chat and having a look at the highlights. Harps, it's Victory adept at getting forward with their quality and pace up front. You feel that it's going to continue in the second half. Just a matter of Perth Glory taking the initiative for themselves.
Yeah, look, you look at those stats as they came up and you'd think that Melbourne Victory were just sitting back in massive numbers and just hitting on the counter-attack, and it hasn't been like that. It's been a reasonably open game with both teams trying to keep their opponents up the field. It's just in this part of the game, Perth have been poor. They've had plenty of good lead-up play, plenty of constructive play in the middle third, but the final third's yielding nothing. One shot with all that possession is not what the doctor ordered. For Melbourne Victory's viewpoint, they've very evidently been way more purposeful, and they've found better solutions, including the goal itself, which is coming up here. And the massive inquiry for me must be on the issue of player footwear, or it's just one of those things. But Marco Rojas doesn't need the assistance to score great goals of defenders slipping in front of him. He's been in good goal-scoring form, scored 2 last start against the Mariners, and that was a beauty to finish this attack and to leave Melbourne Victory the goal ahead at half-time.
He's 5th since he's returned to the club, Marco Rojas. Another spell here. He's 32 for Melbourne Victory Football Club, 34 overall in the A-League. Jake Brimmer looking for Bruno Fornaroli. And Brimmer, when he gets his head up, and we'll speak about Jake Brimmer in a moment, is a dangerous proposition. Fornaroli involved enough?
Yeah, he's been very at the focal point, but a lot of the ball he's been getting hasn't been, you know, for him to finish off that one, notwithstanding from Brimmer. This could have been 2-0 in the boot. To me, Adam, you know, I don't want to sound like a one-trick pony, been criticised for that plenty of times, but I'm not convinced that Andrew Naboot was absolutely comfortable on his feet there. He didn't get a sharp change of direction to set up that right foot shot. Just look at it again. It takes 2-3 stutter steps to get that angle. And a striker in form, certainly of the athletic ability of Andrew Naboot, it plants his left foot, changes direction with one step and whacks it. That took 6. It was like a 5-point turn in the car park. And this is not what Andrew was expecting and not what he'd normally do, I'd assume, if he was feeling comfortable on the ground.
Jake Brimmer, his first 45 minutes on the pitch. He had a good 45 minutes on the pitch in midweek against Western Sydney Wanderers. How have you found him today, Harps?
Yeah, good. Look, he's so tidy on the ball. And to me, it looks like he's a player who needs the confidence of the coach to say, go out and run the show for us. Very difficult to do that in a football club when you've got someone like Neil Kilkenny and Diego Castro in the team. When you're a youngster coming through to outshine those, it's a big ask, and it's not necessarily his role. But I do believe, given that sort of imprimatur, Jake Brimmer might be that type of player. He's got great awareness. I love the way how quickly he gets his head up, and that was as close as you get to being a beautiful assist pass. I'd like to see a little bit more drive out of midfield from him, just to improve his game a little bit.
Just a reiteration of that statistical information. So Victory with 42% of possession. Balls into the area, 8-5 for Perth Glory, but look at that. Every time the ball's gone into the area for Melbourne Victory, they've had a shot. Now, some of those shots obviously outside the thing, but they just line up nicely. That one, we're looking forward to this one on Monday as well. A lot on it, and I dare say Brisbane Roar huddled around the television in the Hunter Valley. Looking forward to getting the result out of this one, means a bit. And looking forward to getting a result themselves. Another one, Scott McDonald in the goals. Left, right and centre. Harry van der Sarg, what a release that was for Sydney's goal against Adelaide United on Thursday night. Brisbane and Sydney coming your way. Live from Newcastle, McDonald Jones Stadium. Again, the venue for that one on Monday evening. We've got a day off tomorrow in the A-League, finally, after 11 straight days of A-League action. Day off, and then on Monday we're back into it with that one, and a fair few games coming thick and fast. On Tuesday, Adelaide United and Melbourne City. But we're off to a break. We've got the second half from Cogra on the way with Victory in front 1-0, and also on the way late August, the fight that's going to stop the world. Everyone will be watching this. Jeff Horn, Tim Zhu.
He's boxing's next big thing. An all-new Zoo. But is he ready for this? The saviour of Suncorp, the bomber of Brisbane, an all-Aussie super fight. Jeff Horn versus Tim Zhu. Wednesday, August 26th in Townsville.
I'm the wave of the future. I'm the shake of the mover. Eliminate the confusion. I don't talk it, I do it.
Peacock. Adam. Hello, mate. Adam. Mr. Peacock, where are you? Oh, hello, mate. You got me? Just have a chat quickly.
Hello. Kenneth.
All good?
Yeah.
Yep, you got me all right, mate?
Cool.
Right, we're all good, thanks.
If he does it.
Yeah, I know. It's one of those ones, guys. Just see how we go.
And we're back awaiting the restart here, Cogra in Sydney South, and it's Melbourne Victory and their kids with the lead, thanks to their big kid, Marco Rojas, another goal. His third in the space of a week. Grant Brebner pumped, and Melbourne Victory have something to protect and go on with here in this second half, and Perth Glory have something to figure out. And Tony Popovich joins us right now. We'll ask him some of the things that he hopes his side to figure out. Tony, thank you for your time. What do you want out of your side going from middle third to front third in this half?
Yeah, obviously we need to improve significantly in that area. Melbourne Victory's obviously got a goal. They're dangerous on the break, and they're making it difficult. They're getting into a block, but we're moving the ball a little bit slow. We're not moving off the ball to really support young Gabby and Bruno up front. So we need to really improve that area, and if we do that, then we certainly give ourselves a chance to get the win in this game.
Hey, Popo, just one or two players seem to be slipping around a little bit. Is the ground, well, it looks great. Is it too wet, not wet enough? The players got the right footwear on? What's doing?
Yeah, I think the footwear's is a bit challenging. I think it's quite hard underneath and soft on top. And, we've had some difficulties with that, and, and it's caused us some problems.
Thanks for your time, Tony.
Thank you.
Here's Melbourne Victory with an early chance. It was Laurie Latanzio. Quite bring it down. Traore. You can see what he was trying to do there to bring in Broxton. Let's see if the players keep their footing. I just wonder who the responsibility lies with in terms of linking that midfield of Perth Glory to the front two. You heard Tony Popovich there saying that Gabriel Popovich and Bruno Fornaroli a little exposed without much support underneath. Yeah, well, it's the way they set up. It's not going to be one day. And his job is patrolling in front of the central defence to block defensively that midfield area, stop Victory from breaking through. So then it's got to be either Kilkenny or Brimmer who link and join and penetrate out of midfield with the ball and without the ball. That extra run out of midfield, which Christian Popovich has given on 2 or 3 occasions to real effect, has been missing this evening. Traore to Naboot, who does very well to bring it under, and he just has a go. Unfortunately, he kicks it onto the hill. It's middle third. It's a different type of grass here at Cogra to the rest. You can see the different shades, and one day's got himself a different shade. The pink's out, the blue's in. Different footwear for the Spaniard, who back in 2007 was actually linked with a move to Liverpool. Rafa Benitez liked the look of him as he was coming through the grades there at Real Betis in La Liga. Well, that makes 2 such Glory midfielders in the same team at the same time. Brimmer the same. Brimmer, of course, actually went as a 16-year-old from Melbourne, actually. Jake Brimmer went as a young man after Brendan Rojas had a look at him when they were out here for the magnificent night at the MCG all those years ago. Liverpool and Melbourne Victory, and they signed Jake Brimmer. Called him a gem when he signed in Brendan Rojas. Didn't get a crack in the first team, and here he is. His A-League career, a couple of years in his A-League career. It's Fornaroli. Big avenue for Perth to play through centre there, and in the end it's a free kick to Fornaroli thanks to the attention of James Donachie. Elrich. Meredith just getting stuck under his feet. Everyone was moving around the ball, which was completely stationary for a couple of seconds there. There's Fornaroli backing his way into the 18-yard box. And that time it was his fault. Melbourne Victory have had their issues defensively this season. They've conceded 42 goals. Their worst in a season is actually 45. So 2 more games to avoid another unwanted record. They haven't had a clean sheet since round 13 against Newcastle. And they thrashed them 4-0. Here's the boot offside.
Well, it's unfortunate for Victory. There's a prodigious leap from the boot to win the header. And a tidy little bit of footwork from Laurie Latanzio on the near touchline, scooping the ball thereafter over the top. Imagine the boot who had straight offside. It's unfortunate. It was 2 pretty impressive little cameos from both in the lead-up.
Fornaroli. No foul that time. Bruno stuck into Chris Beath. In the end, it's going forward for Melbourne Victory. Looked to be a foul on the boot. Got the ball, says Chris Beath. Waiting for a decision there. The boot's actually stayed down. Hillrich clears it to Fornaroli. Ooh, there's a little stamp there on Lee Broxham. Stamp of frustration. Called into the principal's office.
Well, he's certainly frustrated.
Ooh, that could have gone very, very wrong.
Well, it was calculated from Fornaroli. He knew exactly what he was doing, and that was thumping his feet with purpose into the ground. He was no way going to take out a player dangerously, but knew that that was going to attract a yellow card. Felt the point needed to be made to the referee. That's my interpretation, at least.
The boot in behind. Nice little touch to bring it down. Can get the cross in, and everyone's on the balls of their feet there in the box. Defenders and attackers. We'll get another crack here. Won't. Broxham's ball has no air.
It's unfortunate. Really, Lee Broxham had plenty of time to deliver that more dangerously than he did. Good passage of play, good period for Melbourne Victory. Perth finding it difficult to get the ball over the halfway line in any meaningful way.
Get contact between Donachie and Fornaroli. This time it comes down for Perth Glory, and James Meredith one-on-one with Stormaroo. And behind is Kilkenny. Has he got the legs to bring it back? He does. You know what? They had to be very careful there with the reception of that ball.
Yeah, you're right. Neil Kilkenny was just half a yard off from actually being able to cut this ball back perfectly. Here's the offering and the question asked by Meredith. Kilkenny had a strong run out of midfield, but just couldn't make the impression he needed to. And it did need to be sharp, but it was always his as it needed to be. Not going to get beaten from that sort of angle.
Tell you what, if James Donachie's got strong deodorant on, Bruno Fornaroli's going to smell like it after the game. Close attention, those two. Something to watch as this second half unfolds, as Perth Glory need a point to lock down to ensure a final spot. Here's a chance here going forward. Gabriel Popovic with a touch. Haven't seen much of him in the second half so far. Brimmer trying to wriggle free. So well balanced on the ball, Jake Brimmer. Here's Kilkenny. Close attention from Marco Rojas. Malik. Kilkenny, and that pretty much sums up Perth Glory's transference from middle third to final third in this game. Just not quite on the same page, so Tony Popovic is going to ring the changes, and a couple of surprising ones. One in particular, Bruno Fornaroli. He's coming off. Nick D'Agostino comes on, the Olyroos hero, and James Meredith, his night is done. Dane Ingham has been in the goal since the restart. Scored his first goal way back in 2017. Had to wait until a couple of weeks ago on the Central Coast to score his second in the A-League. Then he backed it up the game after with another one. play on this left side throughout the second half, replacing like for like James Meredith. So it's a different look now for Melbourne Victory defensively at the back there, for James Donachie in particular, Harps, with D'Agostino in for Fornaroli.
A different type of play, but in one sense for Donachie and Anderson, it's a big relief to see, well, the back of, metaphorically, the back of Bruno Fornaroli. They've had to deal with his back plenty of times already tonight, such as the way he plays the game. But they've seen off that threat, and that's a different one with D'Agostino, who's surely a frustrated figure since the restart, just before COVID.
Here's Rojas off and running on that last line. Seemingly nothing on, nothing for those players around him to do, and all of a sudden the ball was hoofed that end of the pitch. Anderson has that under control at the back. Tarek Elrich. Dane Ingham's first touch. Four players behind Melbourne Victory's first defensive line here for Glory. One day breaks that line by driving into midfield and opens up an opportunity. Bounced off Popovic to Brimmer. Chianese, nice turn. He tried to slip inside the inside shoulder of Lee Broxton there, but the veteran won out, and Victory can break again. Rojas is off and running. Now he's one-on-one with Murchula. Big Tommy does well. Just on Bruno Fornaroli as well. Andy, that's the first time since round 3 of the 18-19 season that he's not had a shot in a game. So James Donachie, big tick.
Yeah, and he had to earn his money so far on that basis, James Donachie. He's had that Fornaroli, that stretched effort from that cross ball from Brimmer in the first half. Otherwise, you know, he looked dangerous still, Fornaroli, but the machine's just not that well tonight for Perth Glory, as evidenced by the last chance for Victory.
One day over the top. And a bit on his hands back there is young Aaron Anderson, and he's down really, really well. Now Victory can come again through Traore, and this time it's Naboot.
Yeah, well, Popovic spoke to us at half-time about the lack of speed of decision-making and ball movement in the final third, and the last two counter-attacks from Melbourne Victory have come before Perth haven't been able to execute that decision crisply enough, just dithering on the ball, not incisive enough with their movement or their decisions, and Victory have sprung away twice dangerously. Fornaroli's lack of efforts on goal statistically doesn't mean he wasn't difficult to handle.
Tom D'Agostino was allowed to come off that last line and drop into some space and turn. Real opportunity there with Neil Kilkenny acknowledging the space in front.
Well, this is another opportunity for D'Agostino, who before, as I was going to say, before the COVID disruption, was flying, scored the goal to get the Olyroos into the Olympics. Subsequently, of course, those games postponed, and then returned to Perth Glory action, was scoring goals off the bench and winning games. And then COVID hit, and the league resumed, as did Perth Glory, but he didn't. Now he's got to somehow get back into that swing of things.
Yeah, he actually came back, and after the Olyroos, Tony Popovic put him straight into the starting lineup against Melbourne Victory. Played all 90 minutes and scored a 90th minute equaliser, attacking a far post header, Nick D'Agostino. So he's got goals in him, as we saw for club and country earlier in the year. Rojas a little deeper than usual. And Rue and Naboot gets the other side of Elrich. Trouble here. Penalty. Chris Beath has seen one left by Elrich on Naboot.
Well, he asked him a serious question. And it's a great foot race. Really positive play from Naboot. And it's a late challenge, which didn't stop the ball getting to its target, but the ref has decided that sort of illegality is a penalty. Tara Kilrich has been good so far. Hers on this occasion.
So Andrew Naboot, 2 from 3 from the spot in the A-League. Liam Reddy, the veteran, on his 39th birthday. He saved 6 of 36 in his A-League career. Has he got a magnificent 7? Andrew Naboot doubles the lead. Victory in control, and Perth, looking for this point to get into the finals, have a massive problem on their hands.
Well, again, in the front half of the field, comparing the two teams, Victory have just had more drive. And no better example of this than the penalty won by Naboot. Penalty finished by Naboot in real style. No mucking around with this one. Liam Reddy goes the wrong way, but it was the incisiveness of the Naboot run. This sort of drive is what Perth have lacked. And the foul in the box, even though the ball had been delivered unimpeded, is the award of the penalty. And Perth Glory down 2 goals. A point needed to solidify a top 6 place. Lying in wait for them last round, if it gets to it, are Western United, who'll be baring their fangs. And I'm sure Popovich won't want it to come down to that last round.
So Perth with the pressure of maintaining their spot and making it look a little better, and now Melbourne Victory will learn a lot about their kids in the next half an hour. Their kids in particular. Professionalism and know-how of winning a game at this level. As we saw last night, no lead is comfortable. Western United up 3-0 at one point. Making it uncomfortable is Laurie Latanzio, potentially from Ursula, who was up to the task and had to be those big long legs on Triple L. Came in handy. It has been such a strange year for Melbourne Victory, of course, but even stranger is the fact that their wins have come against teams, 4 of the 5 in the finals. Brisbane, Perth, Melbourne City, Adelaide, plus a win against Newcastle. Just had issues against Western Sydney Wanderers and Central Coast. Haven't beaten or taken a point from those games. There's Perth going forward. Hyundai. Drive into some space. Out to Dane Ingham. So he got his goal-scoring boots on. Thought he was going to do that. Cut inside. He's got his slipperies on. And Acton does well because it was going out for a corner. Armiento. Adelaide born. Joined mid-season from Adelaide United with a view to Champions League football. That was loose. In action and description. Well, Kenny, is he the one to haul Perth Glory out of this problem?
Well, you've thrown down the challenge to Melbourne Victory, Adam, which is completely reasonable. Let's see what they're made of. Equally, let's see what Perth are made of. Defending Premier's Plate when it's losing grand finalists penalties last year. A big reputation this team's built for itself.
It's well played from Naboot to Rue. The reverse of the goal, and Kadar. Oh, that's well saved, well held by Reddy, because they've got a couple of deflections on the way through.
Yeah, well done, Liam Reddy, except that Laurie Latanzio showed no anticipation whatsoever. And if he does what everyone's told to do, and that is follow the shot in, I reckon he becomes odds on to get that rebound, make it 3-0.
Kenny. D'Agostino is certainly dropping into some space, looking for it. This time, Donachie just out of shot on the left is following him into midfield. A little one left by Marco Rojas on Osama Malik. Hyundai just does enough to get it to D'Agostino. Has a go and misses.
I don't mind that clearly. Yeah, sorry, Adam. I don't mind that as action. D'Agostino is moving around, trying to find some little space to work, and on that occasion, the ball came to him at good speed. He shifted it really quickly. Now he's dropping off the front line. And I don't mind this. Control, touch, whack. Back the power in your shot. And there was plenty of that. Just didn't have the direction.
Direct, very dangerous when running straight at his opponent. As we saw right there, the Acton slips right over and gives it away. Popovic couldn't quite under control. In the end, wins a foul. If they play it quickly here, they've got an opportunity. Armiento's got a left foot shot on him, and he just wanted to do that, and that only. As Joel Chianese throws his hands up in frustration to the right of Armiento there, because he was driving into space off the ball. Gabriel Popovic uses his body well. I reckon young Gabby Popovic, when he was being shown the arts of being a striker, wasn't getting a tutorial in having a central defender try and bustle him off the ball, and his dad Tony in the backyard.
Well, it would be negligent parenthood if that sort of one-on-one training wasn't offered.
A little one left on Gerda by Hyundai. Perdar, his involvement so far, perhaps?
Yeah, look, he's done some really nice things. A little quiet, as has Laurie Latanzio. Maybe the youngsters have hit a little bit of a brick wall. That's okay, because at this point of your career, if you're feeling a little leg weary, that's the brick wall you've got to run through. These are the moments that can really refine parts of your game, really develop the resilience that youngsters need to access, reservoirs of resilience. They need to access it to compete consistently with men, seasoned professionals.
And here comes another kid. It's Leighton Brooks. He's coming on for Laurie Latanzio, who makes way. It's Leighton Brooks, a teenager. This is Melbourne Victory's 6th A-League debutant this season. Of course, some of them forced by virtue of the fact that Ulla Toivonen has left the club and Robbie Cruz is injured post-COVID. Here's Andrew DeBoot having a pop. And Leighton Brooks is an exciting winger. Came to the club from Brisbane, their youth setup. He's a winger who's gone out into the right here. He loves to cut in and bring other players into play. So see what he's got in his locker at this level. And Naboot plays the 1-2. There he is. And Rojas, little juggle, gets rid of Malik and gets another goal. Marco Rojas at the double, and Melbourne Victory 3-0 up. And surely looking good for 3 points. Another brace for little Kiwi magician. His 8th in A-League football.
Well, I love this from Burkan Kurta. The youngster has an obvious option, and that's to roll the ball out to Adama Traore on the left. But he backs the international, Marco Rojas, who shows beautiful feet. 2 good touches and then profits off the interference of Osama Malik. And with that ball set and his body ready to go, it's he against Liam Reddy, and there's only going to be one winner. 4 goals in the same number of days for Marco Rojas. And the victory, surely good things from here.
You would think. You would think. But did you watch last night?
I did. I said surely, not definitely.
Who knows what's possible, but I wouldn't say this is an indication of putting the cue in the rack from Perth Glory, but Neil Kilkenny has been given a rest with an eye to this massive fixture looming now on Wednesday evening for Perth Glory. They need 1 more point from this or the next game to guarantee a finals position. And unless something absolutely extraordinary happens, they're not going to get it in this one. So Neil Kilkenny has been substituted.
Well, you're right to invoke the god of the extraordinary, Adam, because it sort of sums up everything about life at the moment.
Here's Naboot. Can it be 4? Andrew Naboot unselfishly looking for Marco Rojas, who's on the roller skates into the goal where he's just put the ball. Traore wins it. Another chance coming for victory. Leighton Brooks. Not Lachlan Brook, but Leighton Brooks running into that near post, trying for the extravagant. Didn't quite work out. Vinny Leah has come on.
Just too hungry at the moment. Victory certainly responding to the pre-game clarion call of Grant Brebner. Show us what's between your ears, lads. And what's that thing beating beneath your shirt? And Victory have shown plenty of both. Plenty of focus and aptitude. If they have been outplayed on some occasions by Perth, they've hung in there and they've burst through since. A 3-goal lead.
Rojas. And a shot from distance, well held by Liam Reddy. Shot from Burkan Kurta. Is Ingham. Vince Leah is on. He came on for Neil Kilkenny, the veteran, 35-year-old, who had his debut in the A-League in Season 1, Round 3 for Melbourne Victory. Like Carlo Armiento, Vinny Leah joined Perth Glory from Adelaide United midway through the season as a view to giving depth for the Champions League. Naboot trying to get around Elrich, trying to win perhaps another penalty like he did for the second goal. In the end, he brings it under control. Barnett to Broxham. Kurta getting a lot of it at the moment. Naboot was almost offside. Barnett was offside, so lucky it didn't get through to him. Hyundai. Just no options. Leah. Trapped out there on the right. Easy to spot in those boots. Former Sydney FC and Wellington Phoenix player. Popovic. Wins a throw. Does well. They had a 4-0 win earlier in the season over the Newcastle Jets. Melbourne Victory. Totally different circumstance this. That was still midstream, still when Marco Kurtz was at the club. Unfortunately, his tenure only lasted another 90 minutes after a crazy day on the Central Coast back in January. This gives a tiny glimmer of hope that the future with all these young players and some obvious recruits to come to the club, notably a manager, because Grant Brebner has said that he's quite happy to hand the reins over to someone, but he'll be involved in some way, shape or form. But future direction of the club. There's some massive decisions coming for Melbourne Victory, but at least this is a little glimmer of light. Here's young Leighton. Leighton Brooks losing out to the sliding tackle from Dane Ingham, who does well and turns his man this time. Curda. He brings in to play here. He does well. 1-2 with Rojas. And hits Nabood to give him the shot. It's good play from Victory.
That's great play from Curda. He's a beautiful footballer. And Grant Redner's wrapped him plenty, and understandably so. But he's running this particular attack, having set up the Rojas goal, the second goal, like a seasoned maestro. He's had a couple of quiet spots tonight, but in the games he's played since we've been back this last month, surely his reputation has just grown.
Well, his Victory's belief has increased as this contest has gone on. So has his. Excited to see what the next 15 minutes or so has, because he just seems he's got a little bit of a swagger about his play right now. Feeling really comfortable on the ball. And it's loose from Storm Roo. Amiento fell over there. Got the sympathy of Chris Beath. Murchler. Malik. That's rusty from Vince Leah. Rojas got a hat-trick in him. Halves.
I don't think there's much doubt about that. Certainly good goal scoring. Nick is moving really freely. Perth really struggling to get any sort of foothold in the game at all at the moment.
Nabood enjoying his return to the starting lineup. Driving forward and looking for Vidar, but just couldn't quite get on the end of that foray. Just on Marco Rojas, our man. He's all over it. Brendan DaCosta, all over the stats. No A-League hat-trick for Marco Rojas yet. Amiento and Jacob Trapp. Gabriel Popovic can't quite get around the back of his defender Aaron Anderson, who's come up hobbling. Donachie. There's no cute playing out from the back there from James Donachie. The setup for Perth Glory Wednesday evening is that contest. It's a double header, actually, at Parramatta in Sydney's West. First up is Western United and Perth Glory. And then it's Western Sydney and Melbourne Victory. The Consolation Cup. If Mitch Duke can cap his season, almost a one-man band for Western Sydney this season. Whether or not he'll be there next season remains to be seen. Plenty on the line in context of this season for that first game. Western United and Perth Glory, and Sydney Croatia youth products. Mark Rudan and Tony Popovic head-to-head coaching. Andrew Nabood. And Rojas. Broxham. Here he is, the veteran. Marco Rojas thinking about another shot. Nabood also with a similar train of thought.
Well, if he doesn't get a hat-trick tonight, he'll never have a better chance, because Perth are just wilting in front of us. Hyundai is having zero joy in the centre of Perth's midfield at the moment. Not trying to stop anything.
I'm wondering how Tony Popovic analyses this contest. Does he?
Well, of course, because they've got finals to play. You'd like to think, if you're a Perth fan, that they'll get the point they need between now and the next game.
With how much depth, given the personnel changes?
Completely. I mean, they've certainly been hit with the unavailability of some reasonably key players. Diego Castro opted not to return for the league's resumption.
Another substitution, another young player coming on for Melbourne Victory. So Nishikawa. Fullback, so Adama Traore is the one to make way, and Nishikawa was one of those players who was involved in the National Youth League Grand Final that I mentioned earlier in the telecast. That looked like a man who's 3-0 up, by the way, Grant Brebner. Nishikawa, he lasted only 10 minutes in that National Youth League Grand Final. It was 40 degrees that day, as mentioned, and he wasn't feeling great before the match. He lasted 10 minutes, and the poor kid was violently ill in the sheds after the game. But not exactly a happy hunting ground for him, his memories, but he was in action the other night, and hopefully he can have a good 10 minutes here.
Well, as indeed this place hasn't been generally for the Victory senior team. This was the scene last season of the semi-final capitulation against Sydney, and then they come out midweek against the Mariners and concede a lead to lose that one. Forward to seeing the back of Cocker Oval, I'm sure, but tonight's rebuoyed them. A really bubbly performance from the Victory. Certainly in the first half, up against some reasonably serious questions posed to them by Perth Glory. And it's certainly withered in the second half, Perth's campaign. Things in this sport, as we know, can change very quickly, and they're going to need to from the Glory's viewpoint.
There's a loose touch from Jacob Tratt. There's Tony Popovic staring at the ground again on the sidelines as Victory can come forward. Very impressive in the second half, Kadar, and linking up with Barnett and Storm Rue driving infield. So the boot, who was just watching along, just enjoying the run of Storm Rue, and almost forgot to join in until it was too late. So a rare clean sheet at the moment for Melbourne Victory. A rare moment of joy in a season vastly populated by disappointment everywhere they looked. The fact that round 8 against Perth Glory was the first time that they got Cruz, Naboot and Toivonen into the starting lineup, had them on the back foot from the start, and they just never recovered. Looking at their strongest team at the start of the season, they never actually played a game together. On paper, their strongest team. Hyundai. Ento, you can see all he wants to do, and he's chopped out about 3 or 4 times, is get that ball onto the left foot. So whether or not his body language when he gets the ball is too easy to read, or that Melbourne Victory and Grant Brebner have seriously prepped the team into all he wants to do is this. Wins a corner though, Hyundai. Bodies everywhere in the box, including Aussie Malik, who gets up and has a shot just over the top.
Well, the accidental collision of bodies opened the avenue up for Osama Malik, who was one of those strewn, or profited from those who were strewn and couldn't quite control the shot. Tony Popovic has just spent more time than I can remember sitting in the dugout. He's normally on the edge of the technical area. The frustrated by the team's softness, lack of punch in the second half. They built some sort of platform in the first half that really just needed a little bit more polish and a little bit more buzz. Haven't been able to find it at all in the second half.
Perth still haven't had a shot on target. It's the first time that's happened in a game since round 26 here at this ground against Sydney FC, but that was a vastly inexperienced side on that occasion. Tony Popovic shuffling around after already locking up the Premier's plate, so he's going to go back to the hub, the team hotel, after this one with his coaching staff, and I dare say there's going to be a fair few discussions in the meeting room or the hotel bar even, dare I say, about the question raised about a performance like this from his side. All adds to the intrigue of this week coming in the A-League. Andrew Naboot has got another great moment for victory coming. There's a cheeky little stab. Whether or not he was looking for Rojas, I'm not entirely sure, given where it ended up.
Yeah, well, given his Marcel impersonation afterwards, I think, Marco, this is for you. I think he was trying to just slide that. It's turned out a near shot when I think he was trying to cut that back, and if we just get to see him move with his arms afterwards. Marco, sorry, I was trying to put on a plate for your hat-trick. Well, the explanation really satisfactory. It's a good opportunity. He's been dangerous today, though, Naboot. No question about that. Swung the game in his team's balance by winning and converting the penalty.
I do have little doubt at the fact that when night fell, it did become like a Torval and Dean exhibition out there with the surface. There's the live ladder, so Perth Glory stay where they are, making Adelaide United pretty happy about things. They can jump them with that one game remaining. So Adelaide United, their game against Melbourne City. Perth Glory against Western United. Brisbane Roar against Sydney FC. Wellington Phoenix's game is in over a week against Newcastle, or this coming week, I should say. And Western United, their remaining games: Perth Glory, Sydney FC, Melbourne City. About as hard as it gets for Western United, but destiny is very much in their own hands, given that Adelaide United dropped points, if you can call it that, against the Premiers on Thursday. And it's not gone to script for Perth Glory tonight against Melbourne Victory. Such a great finish to the run to the finals, and then we've got the finals as well. First game, it's 3v6, 4v5 to whittle it down to play 1 and 2 respectively. Brooks, good work, winning the ball back. Just look at everyone just flying in every direction, unable to stop. It is dead set like everyone's got the slipperies on out there. Slip and slide. The inexperience coming off the bench now for Victory. Basha and Elvis Cam sober. Can he? Is this the opportunity at 3-0 up for Elvis? Jay Barnett, solid in the middle of the park. Impressive performance from the 19-year-old. And Marco Rojas. There will be no A-League hat-trick tonight for Rojas. Elvis Camp sober. And that trademark smile greets him as he comes off after, as Grant Brebner is mentioning, a very good 88 minutes this evening. There's the first one and the second one, just a lovely outside of the ball, outside of the boot cushion to bring it down. The boot. Victory with that one game left against Western Sydney Wanderers. There's Basha. Ishikawa. Create. Away comes Hyundai. Gives the ball away. And Leighton Brooks. What he wants to do with Tarek Elrich is up to him, but he gives the ball away, unfortunately. Oh, Liam Reddy. Took his time there. Storm Rue went flying in. Chris Beath sent a yellow card here to Vinny Leah. There's no sympathy from Beath about the conditions. Players slipping around everywhere, and
oh yeah,
he saw what I didn't see first time. Storm Rue has had his issues with his legs in the past. Remember that?
Terrible, dislocated ankle. Broken everything. Horrible down in Melbourne. And again, that's real borderline from Leah. I mean, I'm going to suggest that he's fortunate it's not a VAR refereed match or assisted match, because he's leapt in, he's missed the ball, he's late, and he's got Storm Rue in the ankle. I don't reckon that comes up terribly kindly on replay.
Lee Broxham's delivery. There are 8 Perth Glory players in a line with no Victory players around. Only 3 committed by Victory in the box. Popovich couldn't bring the ball down. Here's Broxham. His 314th appearance for Melbourne Victory. It's a lovely touch from Leighton Brooks. He can drive in here. Elvis, is this his moment? It is! Elvis Kamsoba. They won't take it away. There's the celebration. We've finally seen it. Finally. After so much frustration in this competition, Elvis Kamsoba says to his little brother at Adelaide United, I can do this too.
Well, it's beautiful work in the lead-up by Leighton Brooks. Real balance and poise, skipped across the ground. Great touch to set it up from Elvis. He's been close, but with no cigars before. But tonight in Cogra, he emphatically states that Elvis is in the house.
Oh, brilliant moment. We've waited so long. He's been so unfortunate. He had that one ruled out by VAR. He scored in the ACL for Melbourne Victory. He scored goals in the FFA Cup before. He's finally done it in the A-League. At the 40th time of asking.
And mate, when he lands with a perfect 10 that round off, you look at his face, he's ready to take on Muhammad Ali. Bring him on, the big man.
Well, you chuck him on the undercard for the Horn Zoo fight at the end of August if we want.
He versus Pacific. Well, what a great week, basically, it's been for the family.
Yeah.
Of both. Have waited a long time, firstly for Elvis to get his goal. Mike Cockrell medalist for his performances in the FFA Cup as an NPL player, and then Pacific breaking the family's duck. Both of them in a week. Wonderful.
And what a way to cap this one for Melbourne Victory. Their equal biggest win of the season. Finally, they get to feel a little better about themselves. It's been hard going, club record losing streak. That is snapped in emphatic fashion here at Cogra. Final score, Perth Glory 0, Melbourne Victory 4. So, we've got all excited with good reason as well, because we've been waiting for it for one of the league's most popular players in Elvis Kamsoba to finally break his duck. That's Perth Glory. What a dirty night for them. And a little bit to fix and consider ahead of their huge clash looming on Wednesday against Western United.
Well, Nick D'Agostino, I guess